had this overcome feeling of guilt because I hadn't sent him a care package, and in this care package was a DVD he wanted of the latest Transformer movie.
I'd come home, we weren't doing anything, and I remember I was just going to order Chinese for tea, and I said, well, I would have taken a Chinese, we won't go out tonight, I would have taken a Chinese for tea.
Terry said to me, would you like a wine with the tea? And I said, oh, no, not at the moment. And I said, well, watch that Transformer movie and then I can send it on Monday. I still had this sort of apprehension sort of thing.
And the phone rang. It was Angelo.
His natural
father. And it was hysterical. We're trying to get sense out of him, and he just kept saying, Benjamin.
And my biggest fear at that time was Amy, because Amy was in Phillip Island, which is about an hour's drive away.
I hadn't had my phone on me at the time, and Mum had rang me quite a few times, and I remember being really annoyed and thinking, what does she want? You know, she knows where I am, I've told her where I am, what's going on. Rang her back and she just said to me, you know, you need to come home.
We hopped in the car, I drove up to Furniture Gully. Longest drive, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, it felt like about 2 hours. Jen climbed the car.
All I remember is walking inside and sort of seeing Mum's face and Terry's face and Dad's face, and I don't really know if they said something to me or if they told me, but I knew straight away.
It was like I was here, but my body was here, sort of thing. It was hard, really hard.
You actually went to see if you could find him there.
I remember looking for him in his room. I remember looking and thinking that if I just walked through the door, that's where he'd be. He'd be sitting there waiting. I was yelling, looking for him. Because the last thing that you ever think is that you're going to get told that your brother's not coming home.
Private Benjamin Ranaudo, 1st Battalion, Royal Australian Regiment in Townsville. Yeah, very well prepared. I think the training's been very mission specific, so I feel confident in what I'm doing and in the people I'm working with.
We all tend to look for the good in the people when people die, but Ben was genuinely, you know, he always had the thoughts of others first before himself. He was always happy, always laughing. He was just a lot of fun to be around, and he was our family's rock.
Each time he was coming home, he was more confident, more manly, more kinder. The stage where, you know, the last time, rather than sort of, you know, he'd give you a hug and say hello, from this shy boy that went, oh, hello, to walk in, sort of big man hug, and how are you?
You miss the fact that such a strong person can stand there. You look at a man, but yet he had such a kind heart. And you felt safe around him. He took care of you, and you knew that if he was there, nothing was going to happen. And he'd make you laugh, and he'd make you cry, and he'd make you angry. But at the end of the day, he wasn't just a little brother to me. He was probably my best friend.
I think what we're doing over there is the right thing, and we're helping the Afghan people rebuild their country, and yeah, I think we should be there.
Ben was one of the best guys to work with. This guy could, and was, at one stage, he could be given the worst job in the world and he would still just have a smile on his face. I remember going to one patrol base and he went to use the toilet, and they kind of caught him doing that, and they said, all right, well, it's your job to burn it and get rid of it and that. And we got photos of him doing it, and he still had a smile on his face. He was just that kind of guy.
It was about a 2-hour conversation, and
Why so long?
I think I don't know, because I'll never know, but I think something happened, and I think he just needed someone to talk to. He was upset, I could tell, but I don't, like he never said, because they weren't allowed to talk about anything like that over there, so what had happened. But he did tell me that, I don't know if I'm supposed to tell anybody this, but he did tell me he wanted to marry Hayley, and that's what we were talking about, sort of thing. You know, he knew that was what he wanted, and when he come back, he planned to do that. And of course, I was teasing him, saying, "How do you know she'll marry you?" But she might say no, he might have a better offer, you know, teasing him. But yeah.
At the airport, saying goodbye to him, she said she was crying because she thought she was going to miss seeing him off, because she met him there and so forth. She was going to miss seeing him off. And she said at the time, she felt like it was the last time she was going to see him. Wish I had more time to go there and see him on site, see him off properly. We take things for granted.
I was probably one of the people that wanted to know why. You know, how did it happen? What happened? Did something go wrong? Was it just one of those things? Was it something that could have been avoided? And it's death itself. You question all these things because it's grieving.
It was the 18th of July 2009. The day started at about 1 o'clock in the morning. We just patrolled in. Pretty much the mission for that day was just to harass a known bomb making or IED making facility.
There was supposed to be insurgents down there, and they'd also heard about there was a particular bomb maker was supposed to be present down there in the village.
We got to the position where we needed to be at about maybe 6 in the morning, something like that, and pretty much held that position for a few hours before an IED was detonated pretty much underneath us.
It's like a little grenade explosion, and that set off the bigger explosion which killed Ben.
I was kind of asking the boys where Ben was, and no one would really answer, so I just kind of knew what had happened then.
That must have been devastating for him, both to lose a brother and to lose his leg, and when he was such an active person.
It was never really about my leg, because I was lucky. I was the one that was still here. And the thing that hurt me most was losing a mate.
You know the little things that used to pee you off? Don't worry about it now. I look at people that are whinging and talking about something, I think to myself, God, there's things worse off. There's people worse off. You always think it's going to happen to somebody else. Once you've been in that situation, you realise that, you know, life's too short to hold grudges, to be bitter, to be angry.
I think it does make you stronger in a way, because you find a way to get through every day.
I think it should be compulsory for every soldier to do a DVD for their mothers and fathers before they go. You know? I've got a minute one of Benjamin that I play over and over just to hear his voice, you know.
Day to day I'll be conducting patrols with my section, providing security for engineers.
Most times it makes me happy, and other times I just wish he was here for one more cuddle, one more, hey mum, I'm home. Yeah, it's hard.